It's a fact. Many of us are unkind to our bodies. Not intentionally, of course. We have obligations, responsibilities, so little time. Our minds rush, our backs slouch, our foreheads furrow, and our meals are afterthoughts. But what if all you had to do was think a little bit more about you? How does my body feel? And if I take a minute and balance myself with the right food, how will I feel then? How will I experience life then? Let's go on a journey to find out how food interacts with the body through life experiences, past and present. Not every food will make you your best self, but how would you know? There's only one way to find out. Let's move. We're in the East Village meeting Gwen Gussman, choreographer and director of the company Holdtight, currently in residence at the Cell Theater. She's also an instructor for yoga and Pilates and a dancer. So when you're constantly on the move and you're using your body this much, you better believe you're eating the right food. So she's taking me to her favorite place to fuel up. Divya's Kitchen. Hidden in plain sight, you may have unknowingly walked by this place a million times already. I definitely have. This snug kitchen space is home to a massive amount of vegan and vegetarian components, created by Divya herself and her talented kitchen staff. Oh yeah, and for those of you who love to cook at home, Divya's got a cookbook too. Each dish is thoughtfully prepared and plated using fresh, natural ingredients. And when I say thoughtfully, I mean it. One of the most unique things about Divya's Kitchen is that the entire menu, food and drinks, follows Ayurvedic principles. This is vegetarian on another level. The menu is labeled and arranged so that you can put as much thought into ordering the right food for your body as they did into preparing your meal. Even the volume of the music in the restaurant is set to aid digestion. But don't let this new vocabulary scare you. If you're like me and you have no idea what a dosha is, you can still order almost anything and come out on top, like these sweet waffles with berry compote and cashew cream, or the perfectly spiced vegetable pancakes, and Gwen's favorite meal of all time, Khichari. Yeah, I didn't know what it was either. This is almost as much a learning experience as it is a dining experience for me. Luckily, we have Gwen as a tour guide through this somewhat new territory. Tastes like cranberry?
Oh, it's very good. Cranberry raisin. So before Divya's Kitchen was Divya's Kitchen, it was the restaurant associated with the Bhakti Center, which is right next door. So when I was a student at Tisch, I would come over and take yoga at the Bhakti Center and then sometimes grab a little bite to eat. And it was totally different than this. It was the same space, but not at all as chic or classy or kind of a little fancy. And also, I think not Divya's cooking, just someone from the Bhakti Center, but that alone was delicious.
Yeah.
So then I moved to Brooklyn, so I wasn't in this area as much. I walked by and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, where's my old little favorite Indian restaurant? It's part of the Bhakti Center. But this is so incredible that I was just blown away from the first time I had a meal here. So how are you gonna do this, Allie? Are you gonna pop some greens in there? Yeah, me too. Oh, this looks good. It smells really good. First taste impressions?
It's so good.
So tasty.
This mint sauce, packed
so
with
good.
flavor.
The pancake is
I was really hungry
nice.
too. It is.
Yeah, it's really light. It's almost like a crepe.
I was just gonna say that.
Yeah.
So this is vegan also?
Yeah.
Because it's prepped like in the way that reminds me of eggs, like an egg batter,
No.
but there's no eggs in it.
I think the only sort of like animal products they do here is cheese and ghee, which is clarified butter.
Since this is an Ayurvedic restaurant, can you give us like in layman's terms what Ayurvedic cooking is?
Yeah. Ayurveda is sort of, they call it like a science of life, or like it's an ancient, very yogic way of eating and treating your body. So they have rules about, you know, what kind of food you should eat based on your own body's constitution.
Gotcha.
So all of this food, how, if we were doing it the Ayurvedic way, we would have looked at the menu and been like, so it's winter, it's cold outside, like, I'm feeling a little snuffly, or I'm feeling congested. And so then you would be like, oh, kapha. Because kapha, one of the 3 doshas, so there's 3, there's vata, pitta, and kapha. And kapha tends to get like congestion, sinus issues. So you'd want to balance that out by eating foods that balance that dosha.
Okay.
Or like if we came in here and you were like, Gwen, I'm having serious indigestion, or like I'm feeling like very fiery today and very angry, then you'd want to eat something that's calming for pitta, because those are the qualities of pitta. Or
So it can like balance your mood.
Yeah, it can balance
like from the
mood,
inside out.
Yeah, from the inside out, like mood, things that are going on in your body, whatever. But each of us have a constitution that we sort of fall into anyway. So based on seasonal shifts, your constitution can ride one way or the other, but you still have like your inner dosha. I basically like grew up being a pescatarian who longed to be a vegan. That was like the way my parents ate. So they're really into this whole like Ayurvedic way of cooking, etc.
Yeah.
And when they first came here, my dad said that the woman who was their waitress gave them like a whole breakdown of what she thought his dosha was. So like what he should order on the menu, which was great. He loved it.
I want to know what my dosha is.
I could give you the quiz.
There's a quiz?
I can make you a quiz right now, because based on what I know. Want me to do it? I bet you are do you tend to be more, I bet you're a pitta. A lot of New Yorkers are pittas. Pitta is the very like ambitious, fire, like go-getter, very passionate kind of constitution. So like vata is very like movement oriented, very like on the go.
Yes.
Where pitta is very like athletic. That's even their build is like just athletic and strong.
I see, yeah.
And then kapha is very like lazy and like sluggish. I know,
So
but
there
it's
is
funny.
a bad one that you can be.
But see, there's not a bad one, because we just associate those words with things in
like-
our society, right? You know, because the thing is you don't want any of those to be out of balance. You don't want to
True.
be too energetic.
I can safely say I've never eaten a meal like that.
Yeah.
Where I've considered like, oh, how does it balance me?
And think if you ate like that all the time, like you just feel like $100.
Let's do the
going on to-
Khichari. Yeah, I wanna dive into that because it looks really good. Khichari is your go-to, would you say?
Yes.
Oh
I
God.
could eat khichari every day, for every meal actually.
Really?
I really could.
That's saying something.
Yeah, because for breakfast, I could pop an egg on this, and that'd be so tasty. Like,
Khichari
they
is so
have a really tasty, I think it's like a vegetable cashew curry. That's good. And then the lasagna is crazy. It's
It
amazing.
looks really good.
It's like a thick hunk. Like really, I think it's really this high. The lasagna itself, it's crazy. Like I've never had anything like that. I also don't like lasagna because I don't eat dairy and gluten.
Right.
And so usually lasagna is a no-go for me. And so to have this, it's just amazing.
At what point did you realize that dairy and gluten wasn't working?
Well, I didn't really grow up eating a ton of animal products to begin with, but as I got older, and especially with the rigor of dancing in companies, I would go and get a slice of pizza, and I felt terrible after. But I will say a croissant, I love croissants. And so once a year, I'll have a croissant, and I just know what I'm getting myself into. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna feel great after this.
But during this, I'm gonna feel
in
great.
the moment, it's gonna be great.
Ooh.
What is
The
that
waffle is
waffle
great.
made out
I
of?
don't know.
We gotta look at that menu.
So
again.
good. So tell me a little bit about your background in dance and how that's all kind of led up to this moment where now you're the choreographer and director of Holdtight.
So, I mean, I've been dancing since I was 3. Like, dance has been a big love of mine forever. All Holdtight shows are much more of a dance theater experience, which is not necessarily an entirely narrative experience. It's more like a Holdtight show is going to get at like some deep human emotions and guttural stuff.
Everything is riding on this. If you had to rank these three completely different, unrankable dishes, how would you do it?
So here's what I have to say. I have a huge sweet tooth that I try to curb. So,
yes.
like the child within me ranks the sweet waffles as number one. Because the other thing is, as a dancer, I do eat to like fuel my days. I'm like, this would, although this is good ingredients.
Yeah, there's like lentil flours in here.
It's true.
Fuel.
Great ingredients. This would fuel me. You're right, this would fuel me. So let's keep this as number one. I don't even need to backtrack it. We're keeping this as one. They're all so good. I'd say for brunch, I would go 1 veggie pancake, 2 Khichari, 3. But in like any time of day, I think I'd go 1, 2, 3. What about you?
I would probably do 1 waffles, 2 Khichari, 3 veggie pancakes. If I were really, really hungry, I would go Khichari.
Yes.
Yeah. If I came in here and I hadn't eaten like all day and I was like, I'm starving.
Yeah,
definitely Khichari. So the shows that you've done focus on like a question, right? Like like a rhetorical question?
Yes, so the Nourishment, which is like under the umbrella of our company. But Nourishment is its own thing that are these evening length shows that are based on a question. So the very first one was, what does it feel like to fall in love? And for that one, because each show also involves food, these nourishment shows.
This you have to tell me more about too.
Yeah, so that one involved, we collaborated with a chocolatier and then a craft cocktail maker and artist who built different foods and drinks that the audience would have throughout the course of the show that elicit the same feelings that we're going for, like content-wise, through the art.
So it's not just visual. People come and they watch an art. They're feeling this art like through their senses.
Exactly. One of our more recent shows was the question, what does it feel like to grow up? A food we paired with one scene. I'd say about a quarter of the way through, we got into a feeling of just like insecurity in where you're at in your life. The chef made a dish that was an oyster wrapped in a fermented, steamed like Swiss chard. And so it was very surprising because when the audience put it in their mouth, they were not expecting an oyster in there. And the show that I'm preparing now, the menu is definitely going to be based around honey and bees. And I'm not going to say what the question is yet. Because
that was my question.
But there's something about bees and the environment. The question I'm toying with, I will say it. I'm thinking it's going to be something along the lines of what keeps you going, like especially with everything going on in the world, you know, like what really drives your life force and your being and your spirit. And I also really love like the sensory experience of like having something like almost a gift, like being given something that you can open up and have that initial smell. And then that, because smells are so associated with memory, and I think dance is so associated with memory because we hold our whole life in our bodies. I mean, this is the thing that we go from birth to death in.
It's like a time capsule of like everything you've been through.
Exactly. And so I have heard from many people, and I find at times that dance can be inaccessible, but that I think food can actually make it more accessible. So that was the aha moment of like, okay, I want to try to fill this void I feel there is with food and movement. But then that also didn't quite feel enough. So getting other friends who are other artists involved was really the catalyst for starting this.
What would you say to a person that has never really seen themselves going to a dance performance but is interested?
Coming to see a Holdtight performance, you're definitely having an experience. I'd say psychologically, like hopefully it pulls up things for you, but you know, also as a viewer, you're only going to let it pull up as much as you're willing to open up to. If anything, you're going to get some amazing live music, some incredible movement and sound. You're also going to get amazing food. I work with awesome chefs and really cool drink mixologists, or you know, different sommeliers. So yeah, you're gonna have a blast.
What would you say is the biggest lesson that you've gotten from your experience so far?
So many lessons. I don't know. Lesson that I'm trying to learn right now, that I think especially diving into making more of my own work is taking me, is just to be patient, to have patience, and to know that I'm in this for the long haul and it's going to be a journey, and sort of just to keep the faith and keep good people around me who I enjoy working with and putting myself out there, and have patience.
There are so many lessons to be learned out there.
for those well-seasoned movers and those of us just starting to treat our bodies better.
If you wanna be a mover, if you wanna be a dancer, if you just wanna be more active in your life, the biggest thing is just to get comfy with your body and do it.